I'm Lindsay, and for the past 3 years, I've taken my van all over the United States in the pursuit of visiting every national park in the country. But it's been over a year since I've taken the van anywhere because a while ago, a huge mechanical issue forced me to cancel my plans to drive across the country last summer. And ever since then, this is what I've been waiting for. My next big road trip. Things are just barely starting to warm up where I live in the Northeast, so I figured this would be a good opportunity to go visit some parks with a warmer climate and to take the van across the country to experience a southwestern spring. So I've just left Carlsbad after getting some lunch and some more ice, but it is getting late, so I'm going to head to the BLM spot that I found for the night. Hopefully it will be possible for me to find a spot, but you can see there's definitely a couple of RVs and stuff in there already, so we'll see what happens. Well, it took me a little longer to get here than expected, but currently I am on a public land campsite, which is basically just like a dirt lot, but I'm grateful that it exists because it is basically like 20 minutes away from the Carlsbad Caverns main visitor center area and all that, which I'm going to be heading to pretty early tomorrow morning. Wow, the sunrise is pretty unreal right now. It's just about to disappear behind the thick layer of clouds that I believe is going to be there all day. Bye. That was so cool. I've literally never seen a sunrise like that. Well, even though it's just a patch of dirt, this was a pretty nice patch of dirt to stay on, but I have to get out of here because I have a timed entry to the caverns in just about an hour, so I'm gonna get there a little early and get myself ready to spend the day underground. So all around here, like surrounding the entrance, is the amphitheater for the bat flights. These large migrations of bats are what sets Carlsbad Caverns apart from other cave parks. But I'm here just a bit too early in the season to see the bat flights. Luckily though, I'm here just at the right time to see these nesting cave swallows emerging from the entrance. These birds can be found nesting in the walls of the cave entrance from February to November. Just like the bats, they're leaving the cave in search of flying insects to eat before returning to their nests. After spending a few minutes watching the swallows, it was time for me to head down the steep switchbacks of the cave entrance. This is the final cave-based national park that I had left to visit after seeing both Wind Cave and Mammoth Cave. And already it was stacking up to be pretty impressive. being allowed to just wander by yourself, not on a guided tour, is very cool. I'm also kind of whispering because if I like talk or project, people are gonna be able to hear me on literally the other side of the cave. So I'm just gonna be a little quiet. You just stand here, not moving. You just hear the dripping all around you. That dripping is the whole reason this cave even exists. Over 4 million years ago, hydrogen sulfide-rich waters combined with the oxygen in rainwater to create sulfuric acid, which worked its way into the limestone of the Guadalupe mountain range above ground, creating these caverns below. They still have a lot of the old ropes hanging in here from like when people were initially kind of going down and exploring in here. Unreal. Especially the makeshift ladder with like wooden stakes and fence wire. That is absolutely insane. Caving people are built different. This is the big room, which is a lot less intense than the natural entrance descent. After walking down a bunch of steep, winding paths, I've finally arrived in the appropriately named Big Room, which is not only big, but also filled with a bunch of interesting formations. Something about the drapery formations, like, I want to eat them. I guess they kind of remind me of ribbon candy, and like I don't think I've even ever had ribbon candy, but they look so crunchy, and I just want to bite them. I didn't end up eating any rocks, but maybe I was just getting hungry because now that I was leaving the big room, I knew I was about to arrive at the final stop of the caverns, the underground lunchroom. So, just before the exit of the caves is the old lunchroom. When Carlsbad Caverns first opened to the public in 1923, visitors had to make a 3-hour journey into the caves to reach this area, and understandably, they needed a place to rest once they got here. So a small lunchroom was installed where people could get something to eat after the long trip. And you can probably see that there's not a whole lot of lunch going on down here. It's not really as active as it once was, but for pretty good reason. In hindsight, it seems pretty obvious, but in the 90s, evidence suggested that all the cooking was negatively affecting the cave's environment and drawing outside animals into the cave in search of scraps. After a lengthy legal battle, the food vendor retained the right to operate down here, but selection is limited to foods that don't require cooking or heating, and the lighting has been dimmed to avoid attracting bats. Kind of an insane idea to begin with, but I think it's fun that they still have the novelty here. I'm probably not going to buy anything, but they do have Cheetos. There is one more interesting feature down here, though, and that is the mailbox. There is an active mailbox down here in the caverns that you can send postcards from. I have some postcards here for my Patreon supporters, so this seemed like the perfect opportunity to send some mail from 750 feet below ground. Postcards are sent, so it's time to head to the elevators and back up to the surface. Oh, I forgot that it's showing us.
Yeah.
The numbers are going down. Well, now that I am above ground, and I have a couple more options for lunch than just a few sandwiches and some Cheetos, I think I'm going to take a shower and then go up to Carlsbad to have some lunch. Shower reveal, empty desert, towel, sandals, bag. So that was partially successful, I guess, because I managed to get clean, but my pump bag shower definitely has a leak in it. And I mean, it's a pretty cheap little contraption, so I really didn't expect it to last forever, but for now, I just hope the bag lasts me until the end of this trip. So I know I said I was gonna go to lunch, but the place that I'd like to go to opens at 5, so I'm just gonna wait a little bit. But in the meantime, I did buy some prickly pear cactus candies from the gift shop, and I wanted to give them a try. They sell a ton of like prickly pear flavored things. A lot of them are like jelly type candies, but that doesn't really appeal to me, so okay, here it is. This was crazy expensive too. I don't know if it's like a tourist markup or whatever, but it is very good. Unfortunately, because like I might have to buy more. It's so good. Alright, so this is one of the taffy pieces, and it's really cute because it's pink, but it has green little stripes. That's pretty nice too. It's sort of florally, but like also a bit citrusy. It's definitely like more complex than the cotton candy, but like, you know, cotton candy's mostly sugar, so. Trying not to ruin my dinner, potentially failing. After just a 10-minute drive down the road, and I do mean the road, there is only one road out here, I arrived and I was ready for dinner. It probably goes without saying, but the food in Carlsbad is much better above ground. Well, last night after dinner, I came here to this slightly more private patch of dirt right near the highway, but anyways, it is starting to rain here, so I'm gonna keep driving and head to my next park. Now that I've officially visited all 3 cave-centered national parks in the country, I can definitively say I think Carlsbad may be the most unique. That's not to say the others aren't worth visiting, but now that I've seen them all, I plan on seeing more of what above ground has to offer.